Midday storm update on a Saturday for you. 1 degree outside. Weather Network meteorologist Matt Noyes. We've had an expansion of wind and waves going on at the coastline. Now the South Shore into it. Cape Cod about to get into it as well. A rapid change. Folks going from sunshine to what is just blowing conditions with multiple wires down, damage that's being done by the wind. Again, many of you just getting into that. Some of you already in it for a while. We've been dealing with it for quite some time. Boston area points north. So the question is, when is it going to end? So let's see if we can go ahead and answer all those questions for you. Again, an expansion south continues for us here. Branches, limbs, wires, poles all coming down. Transformer fires reported, house fires reported as well when we've had trees that have come down with wires. A lot of the wires that are down are live. Keep that in mind. If you use a generator, make sure you've got good ventilation for it. A rapid uptick in waves has been happening. We'll look at the wave heights here in just a minute, but they're going to go up big time when you get around the Cape and the islands here in the midday and the afternoon. And it feels like values are running in the 30s. Let's go ahead and bring in a couple of extra images for you. First of all, satellite shot, extremely impressive. You can see the center of the storm now moving down toward the Cape in that kind of mottled or rippled area of clouds. It's right across the heart of eastern Mass. That's where we've been seeing the worst of the weather that's been coming in. That is what's going to be spreading continued down to the south, and that's why more of us keep getting into it. In terms of power outages, now you're up to 29,000 in Massachusetts. New Hampshire was up to 15, 18,000, back down to about 12,000 now. Interesting to note that one of the areas hit hardest, Swampscott, Massachusetts, 67% without power now, but really a lot of eastern Mass. And you can see where it has not spread in, southeastern Massachusetts, but you'll be up next. Really interesting. This is the live camera that comes to us out of Gloucester, Massachusetts, right? But meanwhile, take a look at the live camera out of Falmouth. This is where folks are out on the beach. There's a big change coming in for those folks who are on the beach. And inland, the wind has been arriving. But the other thing that's been happening is the snow has been arriving as well. This is Ashburnham, Massachusetts. Skywarn Spotter Network has been so instrumental, as they always are, with the reports coming in. And this is the one out of Ashburnham that came in a short time ago. There is the wet snowflakes mixing in. Won't be much impact or accumulation out of that, but nonetheless, that certainly is going to be a talking point. All right, let's get back into the weather analysis for you here and show you what's happening. A reminder that we've been issuing updates on our apps throughout the day. We can geo-target these, so you only get the ones that are important for your area. So make sure you've got the app with location and notifications turned on. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. We are also updating to our streaming network. You'll find that on your smart TV and the YouTube app. Do a search for 1 Degree Outside Network. We're online at 1 Degree Outside.live, of course, in our app as well. Okay, in terms of our top wind gusts so far, we've gusted to 63 miles an hour at Kittery, Maine. That was earlier today. Cohasset has just recently gusted to 63. So the wind core very stable, very much intact. It's coming down the South Shore and again progressing in toward the Cape and Islands as well. You will get into the very similar conditions they spread in over the course of the midday and afternoon. Rockport hit 62. Boston about 54 at Logan Airport. That may still go up over time. And we've been gusting 40 to 50 when you get through the interior all the way into central Mass. And that's why when you look at those power outages, yes, you've got outages all the way to Hillsborough County, New Hampshire, Cheshire County, and Worcester County, New Hampshire. Connecticut's been getting into it to some extent as well. We've also been talking about, if you zoom in a little bit, where, again, northeastern Mass has been most under the gun, but now you'll see the expansion of those outages into the South Shore and southeastern Mass, too. Peak gusts here over the course of the storm thus far. There's Boston, 55, so we just exceeded what I had for you on the chart. Gloucester's a little deceiving at 48 because some immediate coastal locations have been able to go all the way up to about 55 to, again, Rockport just over 60 miles per hour. And we're just starting to get into it now when you get around Marshfield, Plymouth, for example, as that storm center continues to drift down to the south and east. It's not an exceptionally strong storm core, but it's enough when you put it with the high pressure over Quebec to create a barometric pressure gradient that, look at this, gets the wind cranking up and down the eastern Mass coast. And you can see why, if you're on the Cape and the Islands, no, you haven't been into it yet. But again, as it expands down to the south, it's a rapid change that moves in. Gusts right now, still, there's that 55 mile per hour new gust at Boston. That's what still needs to arrive to Marshfield and Plymouth. If you look at the timing on this, I'll stop things on the wind gust forecast at about 1 p.m. You're out of the worst of it at the 495 corridor and Worcester by that point north of Boston, right? You're still into it very much at the South Shore. The Cape is just getting into it for the early afternoon. And by about 3:15 this afternoon, the Cape is gusting 50 plus. We may go 60 plus in a few immediate coastal locales because, again, of that very stable wind field that has been consistently producing 60 to 65 mile per hour top gusts. So by the time we get to about 6 or 7 p.m., the gusts are down under 40 on the Cape. Basically, once you get your gusts under under 40 miles per hour, you're going to see a big step back in the damage potential. So that's generally by early afternoon near and north of the Mass Turnpike. It's by mid to late afternoon in southeastern Mass, and it's probably early evening when you get onto the Cape. Your max wind estimate likely going to be somewhere again on the order of 55 to 62-ish miles per hour for the spots that haven't seen it yet. The waves have been building quickly. 8-foot waves at Boston Harbor. We're now up to 11 feet around the Isle of Shoals. We do expect those small wave heights you see in southeastern Mass to go up in a hurry. So by the time we get through this afternoon, there's your 8 to 12-foot seas across a lot of the eastern waters. And when you get to the southern waters, probably 6 to 10-foot seas. The biggest one's going to be on the national seashore. Again, a lot of those folks who are out at the beach are going to get hopefully not a big surprise. Hopefully they're ready for this to come in. Our big concern is folks who've gone out in small sailboats or small power craft or gone out there on stand-up paddle boards and aren't aware of the fact that this big change is coming in. Part of the reason I'm concerned about that is because it's awful cold if you fall in the drink, right? You've got about 53-degree ocean water temperature, but what makes it even worse is the fact that your feels like air temperature, when you factor in the wind and the cold air, is in the 30s now underneath that rain and wind band, and it's going to be just like that as it comes through southeastern Mass and the Cape. It'll feel like it's about 40 degrees, and that's it for a lot of the rest of the day. If you're timing out the rain, you've got an outdoor event, I can show you that by the time we get to 5 or 6 p.m., you're pretty much done with it across a lot of the Boston metro. Southeastern Mass starts to throttle back by this evening. The Cape takes a little bit longer. It's not until around and after dinner time, and then by 9 p.m., you're pretty much done. Is it still breezy in the afternoon, evening? Yes, but gusts are 30 to 40, and that's not nearly the same as what we've seen for the damage here. With leaves on the trees, anything over 40 can be problematic. In terms of additional rain on top of what's fallen, mostly it's about a third of an inch left to come, a little bit higher in the areas that are just getting into it. And then finally, we're talking about maybe some flooding on the Saco River up in northern New Hampshire around Conway. We'll be keeping an eye on that as some of the runoff works in. Scientifically, it's a fascinating setup. We've talked about it over the past several days in our videos at 1 Degree Outside, that we've been talking about a really unusually cold and strong upper level storm dropping right over us. When you do that in spring, you get crazy storms like what we've been seeing now. If you analyze the center of it, again, it's just dropping out of Boston Harbor down along the South Shore. It'll continue to drop right across Cape Cod Bay and Cape Cod itself. But once we get to this evening and a lot of that pushes away, it does quiet down. Your Sunday morning looks pretty good. Sunday afternoon, new showers pop up. The chance goes up after about 2 p.m. midday in northern New England. And then by the time we get to the late afternoon, it's likely to have some showers and downpours scattered around. By Monday, we still think there's a chance to get a couple of pop-up showers still with us. Even Tuesday, some isolated stuff may be with us. I can tell you the waves get better for tomorrow. They're not great, though. It's 3 to 5 foot near shore seas. The farther offshore you go, the bigger they'll still be. And then as you get to the early part of the week, we should start to see things back off just a little bit for Monday and Tuesday as well. So this is the way things look for now. This is the update that'll get you in through the early to mid-afternoon and take good care of you. Please be careful out there. Again, I see many of these down wires are live because a lot of them damage reports we've been getting are for live wires that are down, all right? You can always keep our app with you. Make sure location and notifications are turned on. We'll continue to update you that way. And, of course, on the 24/7 stream. Send in your reports, photos, and videos on the Send to Us tab of the app at the 1 Degree Outside Weather app.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.onedegreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the number 1 Degree Outside Weather.